I'm doing a pop-up live again because I just saw a news story that I was quite interested in here. We're going to call it NBC Nightly News did a story about when you should buy a car, if you should hurry and buy a car due to the tariffs. Um, I, I'll be honest, I don't know what's going on with the tariffs, but the tariffs are probably going to happen. So, with this video here, I'm going to go through some stuff here. I'm just going to kind of ramble. I know that for sure, obviously. But I'm going to be rambling about stuff. But if you guys want to chime in and ask a question or something, I'll answer it. But getting the chat set up here, so I have it. I'm going to move my screen a little bit that way. There we go. So you can kind of see me a little better here at my desk. The tariffs, don't know what's going to happen with those. But I did decide to write some stuff down because this NBC News story kind of got me thinking, what do we have on the ground and what's going to happen with that? In the story, I'll give you kind of brief overview of it. It was NBC Nightly News that aired tonight. They actually visited a Honda dealer in New York. And of all of those cars, their cars are built in Canada. Most of them are built in Canada or Mexico. And they're going to be subject to a tariff, according to this story, due to the fact that they use parts, even if they use parts from Mexico. I believe at one point they mentioned a car that was built in Ohio, but some of the parts come from Mexico, some of the parts come from Canada on that. So, with that being said, if they're going to tax or put a tariff on things because of parts, even though it's built in America, Volkswagen's got some issues ahead as well. Again, this is my own opinion, though. This is not fact. I have to say that. That's my disclaimer. This is opinion only, not based on facts, because we just don't have any facts. I'm going to pull up a window sticker here, too, to see the breakdown of an Atlas here. I'm going to pull a Monroney label for an Atlas. The transmission is Japanese, and then there's parts that are Canadian and parts that are Mexico. And then it gives a breakdown of the percentages built in North America. So while I'm pulling this up here, let's go to Atlas here. I have the most of Atlases on the ground. That's most of what I have. And let's see, Monroney label here. Because I know this is going to come up at some point when these tariffs hit. Sounds like they're going to hit in April. Don't know for sure. They keep going back and forth, kind of changing things around a little bit. So we don't know what's really going to play out. So up on this screen here, I have a window sticker for an Atlas. The vehicles in this car line, U.S./Canadian parts components or content, 49%. Major sources of foreign parts content, Mexico, 33%. No, parts content does not include final assembly, distribution, or other non-parts costs. So this part of the window sticker is going to become very important. For this vehicle, final assembly point, Chattanooga, Tennessee, U.S. And then it says country of origin, engine, Mexico, transmission, Japan. So these things are going to start playing a part because I don't think there's a single car out there that's built 100% in America, or I just don't think there is. The drive to save money, to be more efficient, and budgets and things of that nature have been entrenched too long in the business psyche for this to actually play out, that there's anything out there that's 100% American. And again, with these tariffs, they're going into effect. Well, we're going to pause. This brand's not affected. This brand is. They've said Volkswagen isn't affected. Then they said, oh, they're definitely affected. Then they said they're not. Then they said they are. We don't know anything, and we're definitely not hearing anything from Volkswagen because they don't know either. It's just so much going on. I don't know. At least I can't tell you how much the cost is going to go up because we don't know. I've heard anything, and this isn't brand specific to Volkswagen. This is just in general, the news media out there. This is mainly, I watch NBC News, and they're saying anywhere from $3,000 to $12,000 per car. So here's what I will tell you. Any car that's on my lot right now, most likely is not going to be affected by the tariff. So if you're looking for a car for your kid that's getting ready to go back to school in August, going off to college, buy a Jetta, buy it now. Buy a Taos, buy it now. Buy a Tiguan, buy it now. But I have a breakdown here of what I have on the ground and what's not tariffed right now. So Atlases, I have 72 on the ground at my dealership, 13 more in transit. They won't be affected. No new window sticker or anything like that at this point. At this point in time, March 14th or whatever today is, March 13th, excuse me. Today's the 13th. So they're not affected at this time. Atlas Crossport, 38 on the ground, 4 in transit or at port. So I'm not counting ones that haven't been built yet because those, they could be affected. ID Buzz, I have 4 on the ground. 4. Those are definitely going to be affected at some point. They are not right now. 4 on the ground, another 5 at port or in transit to the dealer. ID 4, 2 on the ground, 1 in transit to the dealer. Those are built in Chattanooga, so they're going to be. We don't know. There won't be a tariff on those as of yet. Jetta, 24 en route to us, 10 on the ground. 10. I am serious when I say come get a Jetta because we're starting to see the Jetta flip a little bit. Jetta S's, when they come, they go quick. I have 1 Jetta S on the ground. It's been here for 7 days. That's it. 7 days. That Jetta S is priced at, here, I'll go back. The Jetta S is priced at, let me go to Jetta real quick here. And I apologize looking up at the screen, but I wanted to get this information out here. So Jetta PA2. I wrote the numbers down wrong. I have 24 on the ground and 10 en route to me. A Jetta S. Let's see here. Did we sell it already? Nope, we didn't. $23,435. That's $23,000. That's the cheapest car I have. It's been here 7 days. It won't last much longer, especially if there is actually a rush, because this news story was talking about a rush to buy a car before the tariffs affect in April. They were saying April. Don't know anything for sure, because it could change again. Jetta is built in Mexico. Of those Jettas, 8 of them are GLIs, and one of those, 8 of the 24 I have on the ground are GLIs, and of the 10 that are coming from port, 1 is a GLI. Now, another little asterisk on the GLI, not related to tariffs, is if you're interested in buying a GLI this year, they're only doing Autobahn, and you can get a manual on that. But if the Jetta GLI was built after January 1st or later, it will not have Beats Audio in it. Beats Audio ended on December 31st for the Jetta. Any of them built before December 31st have Beats Audio in them. The rest of them afterwards will have a window credit. Now, that being said, 2025 Taos SEL does not have Beats Audio in it. It just has a regular stereo in it, and there's a window credit for Beats Audio. I guess there was a contract. The contract came to an end. It was allowed to expire, and we don't have a premium audio contract with any supplier. So, that being said, let's see. I'm going to go through these from the top again if people join, because I'm up to 10 people. That's a surprise because I popped up. I didn't announce this or anything. Atlas, I have 72 on the ground, 13 en route. Built in Chattanooga. Atlas Crossport, 38 on the ground, 4 en route. Built in Chattanooga. ID Buzz, I have 4 on the ground, 4 en route. Built in Germany. ID 4, 2 on the ground, 1 en route. Built in Chattanooga. Jetta, 24 on the ground, 10 en route. Built in Puebla, Mexico. GTI, 6 on the ground. Those are 2024s. And 1 2025 allocated to me that's on a ship right now. Those are built in Germany. GLI, 8 on the ground, 1 en route to me, built in Mexico. Those right now don't have a tariff on them. Golf R, 0 on the ground. It's 2024s. 1 allocated to me and en route. That is a 2025. And that's built in Germany. Taos, 0 en route to me as a 2024, 7 on the ground, built in Puebla, Mexico. Taos 2025 model, I have 29 on the ground, 13 en route, 25. Here, let me see. I don't know what my shorthand note here. Let me check Taos again here because I don't want to tell you wrong. because this is all going to be tariff related, and people are going to come in and want to buy these. So 29 on the ground, 13 en route to me, and then 25. I'm not sure what the. Oh, I wrote model years there. That's what I did. Tiguan's. This is an important one. 2024s. These are 2024 Tiguan's. 2025s we won't see till May or June. But the 2025 Tiguan's, I am down to 36 Tiguan's. Period. Every single one of them is an SEL-R-Line Black Edition. Every single one. No more SEs, no more S's, and definitely no SEL-R-Lines. Only SEL-R-Line Blacks. And that's a mix of front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. 36 on the ground. No tariffs on those. In fact, the 2024 Tiguan's probably won't have a tariff instituted on them because they built those through 2024. It will be the 2025 Tiguan, once it gets built, that will probably have tariffs on it. Tiguan has 0% on it. So if you guys are really thinking about buying a car, if you know someone that's looking at buying a car and they're looking at Volkswagens, move now. I am not kidding when I say that. Move now. Because you don't want to risk. You can't roll back the clock once these tariffs hit. And we don't know if they're going to make them retroactive. I highly doubt that they'll make them retroactive. But if they do, that Tiguan behind me right there on the camera, that thing just goes up at least $3,000. So that is a Tiguan SE. That one there is probably $35,000. Adding $3,000 to that makes it $38,000. The SEL-R-Lines that I have on the ground right now that are 37 for front wheel drive, 39 for all wheel drive, suddenly go up $3,000. And I'm just being conservative with the $3,000 number. They could go up as much as $12,000. That's insane. That's going to be insane. And I don't think that Volkswagen has deep enough pockets to incentivize that. They're not going to do that. They can't. The Tiguan is our number one seller. We sell at least 7,000 of those a month. Can you imagine incentivizing a tariffed car, $10,000, $12,000 per car, and selling 7,000 of them? 7,000 times $10,000. That's a lot. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's not going to happen. So guess who gets to suck it up? The consumer again. And interest rates aren't great. So 0% is great. Tiguan's are here, and we've got 38 of them left. Come get a Tiguan, seriously, or go to your local dealer and get one. Remember, if you fly in, I'll pick you up at the airport and you can drive it home. Fly in, drive out. And this is not a sales pitch. It's just literally the tariffs. We don't know what's going to happen. But I know that new Tiguan that everybody's waiting on, it's already going to be more expensive just from the get-go with no tariffs. Now, if they slap tariffs on top of it, it's going to be super, super high priced. But it's going to be in line with everything else because everything else is going to have a tariff too. There's not an automobile right now that is built completely in the U.S. with no foreign components. None. That's just not possible. And I went over that with you. I went over that window sticker. I'll go over it again so you guys understand this. The Atlas is built 100% in the U.S. The car itself is put together in the U.S. The Mexico components are 33%. The transmission is from Japan. It's a Nissan transmission. Well, at least we've heard that allegedly. It's not a CVT. It's an 8-speed transmission, but it's made in Japan. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Everything else, final assembly point is Chattanooga, Tennessee for stuff. So until Volkswagen gets other plants here, builds other stuff here, the Scout plant is now in play. Chattanooga is in play for maybe an expansion. But at the same time, Volkswagen Chattanooga is going down to 2 shifts instead of 3. So we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going on. You'll probably hear that in the news. That came out today. So if you have the means to buy a car today, you're doing yourself. Future you will thank you, because later on, we don't know what's going to happen. And it's not going to be just us. Like I said before, the news story was at a Honda dealer. Honda's going to be affected. Toyota's going to be affected. Mitsubishi's going to be affected. If you're buying a Mitsubishi's a smaller one. Nissan's definitely going to be affected. And Volkswagen's going to be affected. So is Audi. Oh my gosh, Audi is going to be definitely affected because that's our brand. So is Porsche, Mercedes, you name it, Hyundai. They're all going to be affected, every single one of them. So it's not just us. It's not like, well, Volkswagen's going to be expensive. They're off the list. I'll just go buy a Honda or buy a Toyota. It's not going to work out like that. This is crazy times that we are in. And this is normally our busy selling time. So what I think is going to happen is people are going to realize these news stories are going to bake in, and people are going to come to their senses and realize, holy crap, by August, this car could be not double, but close to double the price it is right now. A Jetta, $23,000. A Jetta Sport. If I look this up, let me look up a Jetta Sport for you real quick. A Jetta Sport. I'm going to toggle back to my Jetta lineup. And so, MSRP on a Jetta S, $23,435. Move to a Jetta Sport, $25,416. A Jetta SE, $27,866. Let me move on to a Jetta SEL, $31,596. Okay, jump up to a manual GLI, $35,506. Here's an automatic that'll be $35,586. Oh, wait a minute, $35,506 for manual. I'm not sure what the difference is there. We got two of them. An automatic and a manual that are almost the same price. The one must have a special color upgrade on it. But these tariffs are going to be serious. These tariffs are going to be a problem for everybody. So, if you guys have, there was 15 people watching a minute ago. If anybody's got questions, type them in up there. I'll answer them. But we don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea, no earthly idea. And as soon as we get an idea, it seems that the game gets changed, the rules get changed, or something gets back down, or it's like we're playing a game of chicken, but we just don't know the outcome. The stock market's in turmoil. Everything's just topsy-turvy. I can't really talk. I'm sorry. I'm a little tongue-tied today. But the tariffs, they're going to be happening at some point. And I want to make sure you guys are ready for that. So I want to touch on something else as no one's typed in really a question yet. Golf R and GTI, they mark 8.5. If any of you that are listening there are interested in that, I have one allocated to me, the Mark 8. GTI, I have a Moonstone Gray Autobahn coming. And then I also have a black, Mythos Black Golf R Black Edition with a Euro package on it. Don't have a price on it yet, but it means no sunroof, the Euro package, the velour, door insets, the cloth seats. It adds $37.95 to the price of the car, and I have two Golf Rs on order. So if you're looking for a Golf R, you need one ordered. They're not going to build the car specifically, but they're going to match it at least. I've already placed an order for two. If you're wanting to order a Golf R, reach out to me. I can order a Golf R for you. Questions here. Let's see. 2024 Tiguan. Is there dealer accessory tow hitch available at purchase? No, that is aftermarket on the Tiguan. It's not designed for tow hitch at all. We've sent people to U-Haul actually before to install a tow hitch on a 2024. I was waiting for the new Tiguan. My lease on my Taos was over in December. I ended up getting an R-Line white with brown interior. Any update on the release date for the new Tiguan? They moved it up from June to May, allegedly. I did accidentally, at my dealership, one of the things I do is I manage all of the new cars that are coming in. So I see them coming in. I assign them stock numbers, which involves me printing invoices, pulling invoices for incoming units, and getting them ready and assigning them stock numbers. And at the rate we're getting cars in, we went from, I'll call it 160 cars to we're now at 228. And there's still nearly 30 cars inbound to us and another 60 at factory or at port, or I'm sorry, in transit to us at this point. So we have a lot. I did accidentally type in a COM number a COM number is a commission number for cars. Everyone has a commission number on it. It's on the Monroney label. I can't talk. And it's also on the window, the invoice for that car. It's how they pair the car, especially before there's a VIN. But I accidentally typed in one wrong. It was a typo, and I pulled it up, and it was a 2025 Tiguan. Still showed $0, but it showed a 2025 Tiguan there. So the system's already primed with COM numbers and things like that, but they make them invisible to dealers. Dealers can't see them or anything like that. Only a regional corporate exec guy can pull them at this point, but they're out there. None are built yet. They'll probably do a pre-series run down at Puebla here pretty soon. They'll probably do that in late March or early April, I'd guess. That's what those are, basically to test vehicles and give them to execs to drive and things like that. But nothing else yet. This car is essentially a Tayron that is rebranded as a Tiguan. And before someone roasts me in the comments and says it's not a Tayron, it's a Tiguan, it's a European Tiguan. We've already had this argument so many times. It's not the European Tiguan because it's longer, but they're taking most of the key components from a Tayron and turning it into a Tiguan for the U.S. market. So we don't know when exactly those are going to come out, but they're saying May instead of June now. And most dealers, my dealer, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be sold out of Tiguans by the time those arrive, or at the very least, I'm going to have a whole bunch of silver Tiguan SEL-R-Line black editions left. Everybody picks every color but silver, but I'm going to tell you what, that silver color does stand tall, especially when it's cleaned up and shined up from a car wash. It looks super sharp, but it's always the last one left. When COVID happened, we sold down to 3 cars. All 3 of them were Tiguan SEL-R-Lines, and all 3 of them were silver. 1 was front-row drive, and 2 were all-wheel drive. That was it on the entire lot. We had 3 cars, and we parked them sideways out or diagonal out front to make it look like we had more cars. It was ridiculous. But at that time, everybody was ordering their car. They were putting money down on it and say, okay, when that car comes, we'll pick it up. When the next car comes, we'll pick it up. This is kind of reminding me of that how bad this could get, because people are going to want to buy cars before the tariff. And then what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, when people go to trade in cars, oh man, this is going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a cascading nightmare. Looks like I got another comment. Picked up brand new 2023 Arteon SEL Premium with less than 50 miles 3 weeks ago. Super happy with the car and best Volkswagen vehicle produced in the last 10 years. Yep. FG, you're right. And the Tayron is a Chinese market VW, but the new Tiguan for the U.S. is based off of the Tayron. It has a lot of the features, the styling, the cues. The thing is, they're not doing 3 rows. They're not calling it a Tayron. They were supposed to do the little Easter egg with the Tiguan, or with the tiger and iguana etched in the glass on both sides. I think we lost even that. The front end is very similar to the Tayron. For the longest time, they kept saying, we're getting the European spec Tiguan. Now we're not. And it's just a Tayron rebadged. It'll have American accents, American features, and things of that nature. Nothing based on the Chinese at all. But it's a Tayron rebadged as a Tiguan. It's kind of sad because the Tiguan's been their best-selling SUV for a long time. I mean, I guess it's just ceremonial. It's still going to be called the Tiguan, but it's just, I don't know. And I do have a video up of it from the Chicago Auto Show back in February, up here somewhere on this on my page, if someone wants to take a look at that. Other news for Volkswagen, I'm still hearing a rumor that the days on the Jetta may be numbered after 2026. Don't know for sure. Still think it's a dumb idea. I think they shouldn't have got rid of the Passat either. But SUVs are king now. I also posted a video further up that showed our showroom back in 2018 when I first started. There was a Passat GT on the showroom floor. I think there was a GTI. There was a Jetta SE. There was a Tiguan SEL Premium. And then there was a 2018 Atlas that I don't think had a sunroof. So I don't think it was an SEL on a showroom floor. So SUVs weren't king then, and now they are. So it's crazy. FG, I'm not mad at that. The Arteon should not have gone either. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna talk about. Let's see here. Yeah, it is dumb. But here's what I would oh my gosh, if someone could get me voted into Volkswagen of America, just let me make corporate decisions, that'd be awesome. And pay me handsomely for it. First off, bring back the Passat. Build the Passat, build 25,000 of them a year. Fine. You don't have to build out numbers that sell to the masses. That's the problem with any car right now. That's why the Passat got dumbed down to the 2011. In 2011, they came out with the 2012 Passat. They Americanized the car, and they took away a lot of the cool stuff the Passat had. There was a W8. They used actual, I don't remember if it was actual wood, but they had wood on the steering wheel. They had actual leather seats. They had a working sunroof, but a W8 was a V8 engine in a Passat. And I believe at one point there was even an all-wheel drive Passat. Man, bring the Passat back. Build it in all-wheel drive. Build 25,000 of those a year for the U.S. market. That's it. Cap it. You have a captive audience. The people who want it will buy it. They will buy it. Okay, so you're building 25,000 Passats. Build 6,000 Arteons. Okay? Bring back a V6 engine. Put it in that Passat. Put it in the Arteon. Okay? Put it in both of those cars. Put a V6 in an Arteon. Take my money. Take my money. Okay? So you bring back the Arteon, you bring back the Passat. You keep the Jetta, and you add an all-wheel drive version to the Jetta. Now you've got three sedans, that are all-wheel drive. Okay? The all-wheel drive sedan market is currently held by Toyota and Audi. And that's there's a few others out there, but that's pretty much it. So the all-wheel drive market makes that car attractive. It makes that car viable, and you build it in small numbers, knowing you're not going to sell a ton of them. Then you're fine. I mean, the reason cars get axed, in my opinion, is they set these stupid lofty high goals for a car to sell, and then when it comes in down here, it gets the chopping block, or the car just never made sense. Toyota has a sedan right now that I can't figure out why they make this car. The Toyota Crown. Why? What's the purpose of that car? So bring back the Arteon, bring back the Passat, keep the Jetta, add all-wheel drive to all three variants, so you have that. Okay, 25,000 of this car, 5,000 of this car. You make, I don't know what the Jetta numbers look like. Figure another 25,000 of those. So now you're making 50,000 sedans a year in these two. You add 5,000 Arteons to that, you're making 5,500 or 55,000 sedans in a year. Because here's what else happens. There's this trickle-down effect that people don't think about with when they axe a car. Okay, so let's look at the Passat. The Passat ran from 2011, and I'm only talking about the American Passat, 2011 all the way to 2022. So it ran for 11 model years. Well, technically, it was 10 model years because 2011 was a 2012. So they had a TDI version. They had a gas version. Popular selling car. Yes, it was a rental car. Yes, a lot of grandfathers bought this car. Yes, but the things that Passat had going for it, you could put a 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" person in that car, and they don't steal a seat from somebody in the back. If your driver is 6'6", he can still sit in that front seat, have the seat back at a comfortable spot, and a 6'1" or 6'2" person can sit in the seat behind him. That was unheard of. The Accord can't do that. I don't think the Camry can do that. No car out there can do that. So bring that car back, keep that car, add all-wheel drive to it. Arteon, it was the biggest sedan next to the Passat, or it was bigger than the Passat, so it was longer. Keep that car. That's a sporty car. That's a poor man's A7. That car all day. Add the V6 to it. Keep the all-wheel drive. Jetta now. Add all-wheel drive to that. Can you imagine a GLI with all-wheel drive? It's a budget Golf R. Why not? And you make 25,000 Jettas total, including the GLI. So there you have those three. Bring another car to the States. Tiguan R. Make 3,500 of them, just like you do Golf R. 3,500. That's it. That's all you need to sell, build in the U.S. Okay? So now you've got 3,500 Tiguan Rs. Okay? 3,500 Golf Rs. Take the GTI and drop the production numbers on it, because here's what happens with the GTI. The GTI, people get excited about it. It's a great car. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I've had that car. I had a 2016. I love that car. I have a Golf R now. Oh my gosh. Those are two different beasts. Those are total animals. But why not subject the GTI to the same production standards you do the Golf R? Bring it down to 4,000 units. or maybe 3,500, and eliminate 2 trims. Do 1 trim on the GTI and do 1 trim on the Golf R, 3,500 of each. So now for performance division, you've got a Jetta GLI with all-wheel drive. Oh, and keep a manual transmission. You got a Golf R, and you've got a GTI, and you got a Tiguan R. So you've got 4 performance models right there because people buy performance too. So you've got 4 of those. They're all all-wheel drive. Now, their numbers aren't necessarily high on those cars. That's fine. The other thing that I would do, you got to build more Atlases, and you got to bring a hybrid powertrain quick. Do a hybrid powertrain, build more Atlases, and build more Atlas Crossports. And the ID4, there's a market for that car. You don't have to build as many as you're building. Build fewer, and try to make that car cheaper. That's the other thing that you have to do. But just crazy idea to eliminate a sedan. And I was kind of hinting at the trickle down part there. People buy cars, and people typically cycle out of cars in 36 months to 48 months, just like a lease. Even if they buy, they don't tend to keep those cars in. And a lot of people out there will say, I keep my cars till the wheels fall off. That's not the norm, no. That's not the norm. That's not how the market works or anything like that. So the used car market desperately relies on the lease car market. In the lease car market, if you take away all of the sedans, now all of a sudden the only cars that are coming back used to feed the used car market are SUVs. That's your Tiguan, that's your Taos, that's your Atlas, that's your Crossport. Doesn't matter what the brand is, Chevy Traverse and things of that nature. Not everybody that's looking for a used car is looking for a Traverse. They're not looking for an Atlas. They're not looking for a Ford Escape. They're not looking for all that stuff. They're looking for a used sedan, maybe for their kid to commute to and from school. Maybe they travel a lot. They want a small car that's fuel efficient. That used to be the Honda Civic. Man, when I worked almost exclusively in used cars, Honda Civic, Jetta, Nissan Altima, those cars are, there were never enough of those cars. Now the used car market is forced to be fed on, they're forced to buy SUVs now. And it's sad because not everybody can afford that. Some people don't have the means to afford even a used car price on a, I'm going to shut my fan off down here. They can't all afford it. An $8,000 car in the old days is now $15,000 to $18,000. That's huge. My allergies are starting to kick up, so pardon me if I drink water. Let's see here. So it says the Jetta sells very well. Dumb indeed. Yeah, it is. Have you seen the 2026 Terramont Pro in China? Your initial thoughts on this vehicle? Give me 1 second here. Okay, I have seen that, and the concept pictures that they showed, they're all brown. They show the flush handles, the new front end. It appears that Volkswagen is adopting the front end, these front ends that are going to look like EVs. Almost like no radiator grill, just flat bull nose on the front with some kind of light signature across the front. And in most cases, an illuminated logo. That Terramont Pro is no different. It's like that. Now, I also know that I've got ears. I got little moles at the factory that tell me little things once in a while. And they're already starting to run a 2026 pre-series on the Atlas. So my hunch is it's that car. It won't be a Terramont. It won't be. Actually, they do build a Terramont in Chattanooga for export to, I believe it's Mexico, and there's one other country that they export that car to from Chattanooga as a Terramont, even though it's built in an Atlas factory. And for those of you wondering, a Terramont and the Atlas are the exact same car, just different market. It has a different name. So I like what I see, and the internet is full of a lot of things that, I don't know. There's one YouTube channel out there, I think I've called them out before. They put a lot of stuff out there, and they put a lot of computer rendered I don't want to. I stopped short of calling it AI. It's not AI, but it's computer uh, animated stuff. And like they have a 2026 Beetle video, and it's got hundreds of thousands of views. And it's like, why are you putting this out there? There is no 2026 Beetle. It's obviously not real. You're getting people's hopes up. That car doesn't exist. And then the 2026 Atlas showed something ridiculous. And then there was a 2026 Tiguan and some others, and they're all ridiculous. They got really huge wheel well hips on them and things like that. And it looks like an old school Rabbit from like the 1980s. And it's like, what? Um, so there's a lot of stuff out there that'll trick you. But I did see one video that looked pretty promising, like it was legit and real, where the Atlas interior is going to have a screen, an infotainment screen, and then, I'm sorry, an instrument cluster screen behind the steering wheel, an infotainment screen over here, and it curves and continues over to the driver's side. Kind of like what Cadillac or GM has done with the Lyric and some other stuff, where there's a screen going all the way over to the front passenger. That looks pretty cool to me. I do know that buttons are coming back. I can't speak for knobs, but buttons are coming back, physical buttons. And they're promising to do that on everything. But that look of that car, I'm loving the look of the car. The front bullnose will grow on me. I'm not necessarily a fan of it just yet, but light signatures are cool. And the other thing about that car I'm not necessarily sure I'm digging is the idea of flush door handles. They're doing flush door handles, but I've heard that the pre-series, the handles aren't flush. They're kind of stuck out a little bit. They look similar to what they are now, but they're a little redacted or retracted, if you want to, if you will. So there's a little difference there. They thought the government was going to force EVs. They were gambling on what the future was. Not wrong. The government was there, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I never saw it. I was wondering I keep looking at my hat and it keeps looking like it's way crooked. Why was Volkswagen so all in on all electric? I just didn't see it. I've always said all along that EVs might get a 30% market share or market penetration, but that's about it. It's going to be 70% ICE, 30% EV. That's how I think it's going to work. And then in that 70% ICE, hybrid, it would split the pie with that. So I can't really project. I have no idea what the hybrid part of that will look like, but I imagine it's going to be a huge slice of it. Not a majority slice, but a big slice. But EVs, is best that's going to do is ever get to 30%. That's it. And I'm a firm believer, and this is my own belief, and I've shared it with other people, but I came up with this on my own. I'm a firm believer that everybody else, every automaker out there, got into the EV market way too late. Tesla had this market cornered by itself for almost, a decade and a half? The first Tesla rolled out in, I believe it was it 2020? I'm sorry, 2002? Excuse me. Tesla's been at it for well over a decade, and why isn't it plausible that they've fed the majority of the market already? That the market that we thought was there, or these manufacturers thought was there, was actually pretty well already consumed by Tesla. So when we get in, there's the rest of the market that's left. Well, now all these competitors have to split it, but it's nowhere near as big as the initial market was. Because now those people have already bought a Tesla, they bought a second Tesla, they bought a third Tesla, and they might be on their fourth Tesla. There's no market for anybody else because they've fed it and they've continued to fulfill it. That's my personal opinion. That's why the EV stuff's not adopting. Let's see. It was a smaller Phaeton. I remember those. FG, I think you're referring to the Passat, the W8. Back in 2019, rented in Germany a B8 Euro Passat wagon, 1.5 turbo diesel, 6-speed manual, 4Motion, 55 miles per gallon on the Autobahn. That car made me fall in love with VW. Yeah, VWs used to be the car that was like, oh my gosh, this car is something else. They've had one in there's been one in pretty much every genre of Volkswagen. It was the Passat. Then it was the 2.5 L engine that they put in the Beetle, the Rabbit, the Jetta. the Passat, and there was something. Oh, and the Golf. They all had a 1.5. That engine's bulletproof. That's a 1.5 5-cylinder. EV hybrids. Lower Saxony. Wayne Matera, you said Lower Saxony. What are you referring to there? Is that where you're at? That sounds Germany. That sounds Germany-ish to me. Does anyone else have any other questions? I told you I'd ramble as promised. I have. We talked about the tariffs. We talked about the cars I have on the ground that aren't affected by tariffs. Had a manual 2012 Passat, 1999. 19,999 was a steal. Did you buy that new? Controls 20% of VW. You're not wrong. Yeah. So at one point when Scott Keogh was made CEO of Volkswagen America, that was before he got moved to Scout, Volkswagen voted to give Volkswagen or VW of A complete autonomy to make their own decisions. We got all excited because we had Scott Keogh. He came from Audi. He had run that company successfully. He was in charge. He was an American. We're like, yes, this is going to work out. And they immediately shipped him to Scout. That's technically a firing. They sent him to Scout and they put somebody else in. So now we're back to Volkswagen Volkswagen over in Europe, pulling all the strings, thinking they understand the U.S. market when they clearly don't. They don't. Don't get me wrong. I love the brand, but they just don't understand the market. And like I said before, Passat never should have got axed. Bring it back. Tiguan R. There's no reason that Europe gets all of that car and nobody in the U.S. does. Bring the Scirocco for a limited time only. We could come up with a bold, novel idea and build cars like a McRib. Limited time only. Bring the Scirocco back to the States. Bring the T-Roc to the States. Wow. Okay, you don't agree. Tell me why. Elaborate on what you don't agree with. Let me know what you're talking, which thing you're talking about. So, anyway, I just think Volkswagen has a really good opportunity here. You said you didn't agree. You can't redact it. Tell me what you're thinking. I'm open. You might convince me. Come on, Wayne. So, anyway. Oh, it was a mistake? Okay. Yeah. But I tell you what, Volkswagen is a really good brand. They have an opportunity to do some really good things in the U.S. I'm really excited for the new Tiguan. I'm excited for the new products that come out because they're adding a lot of technology, a lot of safety stuff to it. But the problem is there's a force field between Europe and the U.S. on what we get. Volkswagen has a lot of really cool technology that gets watered down or deleted before it gets put on a boat to come over here. And if Volkswagen really wants to grow the U.S. market, they can add those things in there. People will pay for some other things. What they're worried about is people don't want to pay for things here. But if you make it worth their while, they'll pay for it. The upgraded interiors are coming. Volkswagen's definitely up in their game in interiors. The Atlas with the emergency refresh. That was an emergency refresh, guys, because the Volkswagen Atlas needed it. So that car, the interior now, outstanding. Okay, the new Tiguan, the 2025 Tiguan, outstanding interiors. Okay, so yes, I've said it before. Touareg back in the U.S. Polo GTI, Wayne. I don't know what really sets that car apart from the Golf GTI, but I know that it's a little smaller, but it's a little bit more the same sauce. So it's kind of a smaller burger with ketchup on it instead of the bigger burger with ketchup on it. In my eyes, enlighten me on what your thoughts are there, because I've never got my hands on a Polo. I've never seen one, but it looks like a cool car. Same kind of engineering goes behind that in the Golf. Quamino, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Touareg should have never left the U.S. as well. That also should have been a limited production car. Make 3,500 of those. Small, fast, high MPG. What's the MPG on something like that, Wayne? And I'm assuming that might use a 2.0. Probably not a 1.5, is it? I think that's a 2.0 in that car. And then also the T-Rock. That's another one. If you guys don't know what a T-Rock is, Google it. T-Rock is a Taos-sized SUV, which I thought was coming to the U.S., but then they decided to name it Taos, and it came up. 50 plus MPGs, I'm guessing you're thinking. I'm hoping that's not the price. So that's pretty impressive. The T-Rock would be another cool one because there's a cabriolet version. Or just bring a convertible for something here to the States. It doesn't have to be an EOS top. Just a regular convertible top like what you did in a Beetle. Just bring it here. You'd sell more. And then finally, the other thing that Volkswagen needs to do, stop worrying about what Audi's doing and stop worrying about stepping on their toes. I can't tell you how many people who are touring or Volkswagen fans. They're in this chat. Volkswagen fans who will buy Volkswagen and buy more Volkswagen. Just make cooler stuff. Man, the Arteon was the answer to the A7. The Passat was an answer to the A6. The GLI, the Jetta, the GLI, sorry. It's not really an answer to the S3. The Golf R is more of an answer to the S3. But man, it's okay to step on their toes. You're still selling a car and you're still expanding your U.S. market. Just do it. The other thing that seemed exciting, Volkswagen, this new Scout plant's getting really close to production, but I think they're going to do some exciting things. Like they're going to build some gas-powered cars on this assembly line in South Carolina. I can see Chattanooga and the Scout factory in South Carolina just becoming behemoths in the U.S. market and just building a lot of stuff. They're probably going to build some Porsches. They're going to build some Audis. They may build some Seats in the U.S. The rumor that I'd heard that Seat or Cupra is going to be building in Puebla. They're going to be using the Mexico line for that. Now, with the tariffs threat and things like that, and that nature, that changes things up a little bit. But he could be gone in 4 years. Well, he's going to be gone in 4 years regardless. And they may go backwards. They may go, not backwards, go back to non-tariffs and things of that nature, and this may all be over. So, who knows? Let's see here. So, Wayne, are you in Germany right now, or are you here in the States? I'm curious where you're at currently right now. Let's see. And Kwame, where are you? I'm curious where you guys are at, because I don't think I've talked to you guys before. Let's see. And do we have any other questions other than these two? Because I'm just curious what's going on. Julio Lopez, are you still in here? A plug-in hybrid Jetta would sell. Yeah, they would have to market that, but they would sell that. Trouble is, Volkswagen's had hybrids before, and I think 99.6% of the U.S. market didn't even know. There was a hybrid Touareg. We had a 2013 hybrid Touareg when I worked at the first dealership I was at, and we had a Jetta hybrid, which was essentially an SEL premium with half the trunk because there was a big, huge hump for the battery in the trunk. But those were nice cars. They didn't skimp on those cars. There wasn't anything bad about those cars. Let's see here. What else we got here? Long Island. Did I say it right? Long Island. He said in one word. It's not two words. Long Island. Yeah. Hyundai and Kia does not worry what Genesis does. Yeah, they don't. And we need to stop worrying about Audi. We're so worried about stepping on their toes and hurting them. You're in Westchester, a suburb of Cincinnati, Ohio. Oh, I used to live in Lexington, Kentucky. So you're up by Northern Kentucky Airport, the Queen City. Yep. Let's see here. Yeah, marketing is key, and Volkswagen's horrible at it. They don't market anything well. So The Arteon has one commercial that I remember ever that they did, and it was a song. It was a song from the 60s or 70s that they used, and it was well done, and it was a good song. And it was essentially stop and stare. It was an Arteon driving through like a downtown somewhere, and people looking down at the car, and this song was playing. And it sounded like it is probably a 70s song. It was kind of like a Led Zeppelin type group or something like that. It was a cool commercial, but they didn't run it long and they didn't run it hard enough. You didn't run that commercial hard enough. What they did do, and everybody remembers, and it was a faux pas on their part, was they advertised the ID Buzz 6 years before they actually had it in market. And it was during the Super Bowl, I think they first dropped. The ID Buzz is coming. 6 years later, here it is. Don't do that. And in this commercial they did this year was the highest rated car commercial in the entire Super Bowl, and 75% of it was the Volkswagen Beetle. Perfect time to announce the Beetle's coming back. Nope, no Beetle, no announcement, nothing. So missed opportunities. Then Marketing Genius, they do have some of that too. The Marketing Genius, there's 3 commercials that come to mind. One of them that always comes to mind is the Darth Vader Star Wars commercial with the little kid in the Darth Vader outfit and a remote start, introducing the new Passat with remote start for the 2012 model year, and it was a TDI. That was an awesome commercial, awesome ad, very well done. Another one that was a well done one was the dog that was too fat to go through the pet door. And he started training because he wanted to chase the beetle when it would go down his street. So he got on a treadmill and they used James Brown Get Up off of that thing. And the dog was swimming laps in the pool. I don't know if anybody, I might be telling how old I am, but that was a good ad. And then there were the GTI ads. When's the last time you saw an ad for a GTI? It doesn't happen anymore. The last ad for a GTI was probably 6 years ago, maybe 5. But they don't advertise the GTI anymore. It was the scientist in the lab with the girl in the lab coat, which was his assistant, and he drops the cards and drops it like it's hot or something like that. And they said VW, and it was Das Auto drivers wanted. Yep. So marketing is definitely key. Commercials nowadays, nah, not very well. The ID Buzz commercials are cool, and I thought it was cool that they used the Saturday Night Live Californians for the ID Buzz ad, but they need to quadruple the runs on these ads. Speaking of that, the ID Buzz ad, another thing that I will tell you guys, the ID Buzz right now, sales of that car are kind of slow. But here's the thing. I saw something today that kind of opened my eyes to something. There's a guy I watched that does reviews like I do. Well, he does reviews. I'm just a guy doing a sales guy doing these. But this guy, I watched him today. He puts all the specs up and everything else on the side. He goes through the car and talks about it. It's a mild-mannered gentleman. He's probably in his 40s. I can't remember which one it is. It's not Rady's Rides. It's not Redline Reviews. But he's up there. He's one of those that does a lot of reviews. And he puts specs and all of this stuff on the screen. And he had nothing but outstanding things to say about the ID Buzz. And he looked at it from a standpoint that I didn't even consider. And I sell the things. In the minivan market, it's at the top. But here's the problem. Comes back to advertising again. We're running one ad, maybe 2 if you count the Californians ad for the ID Buzz. It's not in a demographic. It's not hitting the demographic that it needs to. Not yet. The buyers on that car are still moms. They're still people transporters. They are still out there. The interior volume of that car is amazing. Yeah, it also happens to be electric. Storage in that car is amazing. It also happens to be electric. The seats in the back recline. They move forward, they move back, and they're removable. And it's also electric. It's the coolest looking thing on the road. And if you drive one, I challenge you guys to all go to your dealer and drive that car. Here's what's going to happen to you. And it's the most bizarre thing. I'll tell you what's going to happen to you, and you're not going to believe it until you actually drive the car and experience it yourself. You'll almost want to take one of those little camera mounts, stick it on a window, and just film what happens next to you when you drive an ID Buzz. People will not pass you. They will speed up to stay with you. They won't drive ahead of you, and they won't drive behind you. They pull up next to you, and they're filming. They're doing thumbs up. They're doing peace signs. They're doing, all right, that's cool. It happened on every test drive I was in that car. Your blind spot monitor is lit up the whole time because everybody's looking at it going, look at that, look at that. I had a dude that was driving a Cadillac Escalade. If this is the driver's seat, he's right here. The passenger seat's over here. He's looking back like this, driving down the road, and he's swerving towards us, looking between the front seat, passenger side seat, and the back seats, trying to look at us. When he gets to a red light, he's all over like this, looking at it and looking at it and looking at it. And I'm like, this guy's going to kill somebody trying to look at this car. So they're fast. They have a decent amount of range, 235 miles of range. They have a really, they're tall. They're 100% electric, and you store a lot of stuff in them. Length of this thing, it's the shortest in the minivan class. It's shorter than an Odyssey. It's shorter than a Pacifica, and it's shorter than a Sienna. But it is Alex on Autos. You're absolutely right. That's the guy. Great review. I just watched it. He reviewed a yellow one. Man, he had nothing but good stuff to say about it. He even put a rear-facing car seat in the middle row in a captain's chair and was still able to squeeze around it and go all the way around it in the car. Just awesome. The trouble is, moms and dads need to know this car exists for it to sell. We expect this car to show up on the showroom floor and all of a sudden everybody knows and the buyers just show up. It doesn't happen. Marketing. So I'm convinced I'm going to need to make more videos of that car to help market that car for me. I got to tell people, hey, this car does this. This car does that. This car does that. And you'll notice if you guys watch my channel enough, I kind of get in not a rut, but I get into a spot on cars. Like right now, Atlas and Atlas Crossport, because I'm getting so many Atlases delivered. That color combo, this color combo, that's a new color. That's a new contraption. That's something else. I'll make videos kind of on a run. In the beginning of 2025, it was all Jettas, 2025 Jettas, Jetta GLI, Jetta Sport, Jetta S, and Jetta SEL, and Jetta SE. Because there were different color combinations. There were different color schemes, new setups. Now we're in the Atlas, and all there's new colors. And by the way, green on an Atlas and a Crossport, evidently, it's going to be on fire. Because I'm going to tell you what happened. I got a green SEL Premium R-Line Atlas in. I made a video of it, got it cleaned up, parked it up front. It lasted one day. After that, we got a delivery on my day off. I got a car. I gave the car to the service department to get it PDI'd on a Wednesday. I'm sorry, on a Monday. Saturday. It was a Saturday. It was a half day where we don't have full-blown techs. We have only lube techs. So they leave at 3 o'clock. I asked them to PDI that car at that point if they could squeeze it in. They were not able to. So on Monday, when we got back, first thing I did, I went to the service manager and said, hey, I need to get this car PDI'd ASAP. I need to make a video of it and show people this green color on this car with French roast interior. I got that car back to the shop, got a service ticket on it, had the car parked outside the shop so they could take it in. They hadn't even taken the car in yet, and another salesman comes up to me and says, hey, do you know what's going on with that green Atlas back there? My customer wants to buy it. All they did was see it, and it was filthy. And the other green one, they were filthy. You run that car through the car wash, all of a sudden people just stop what they're doing. Hold up, wait. What is that? I want that one. The green cars haven't made it 48 hours yet. We sold two. An Atlas SEL Premium R-Line in avocado green with black interior, and then an Atlas SEL with French roast interior. Avocado green. Both of them are gone. both of them are gone. The minute a customer saw them, that's it. That's the one. Gotta have it. Wait until you see an avocado green SEL-R-Line Black Edition Crossport. I've already heard from the factory. I got 2 people who build these in the factory, and both of them are like, oh my God, that car is badass. And we don't have one in our allocation. I'm going to have to find one, or someone's going to have to come to me and say, I want to order that car. I want to place an order for that car. When the people see this car, it's something else. So if you want to, for context, take a look at one of my videos of a Peak Edition in green. All those black accents, the black wheels, all that stuff. The difference is the SEL-R-Line won't have the black and orange icon or the emblem on the door, and it'll be in a crossport body. That thing's going to look sick. And I might give up the keys to a Golf R for that. Might. Don't know yet. And then the little voices in my head are saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You love your Golf R. So, yeah, Wayne says the buzz is growing on him more and more. The more and more he sees it. Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you something else. I have 4 ID buzzes on the ground. 2 of them in energetic orange. One just got delivered in Mahi green. And then the 4th one is a rear-wheel drive one that's Metro silver. Linus, you're absolutely welcome. That's a cool name, man. And I ain't mad at you. Fly, Eagles, fly. If you don't know, I'm from Kansas City. Even though I'm in St. Louis now, I'm a lifelong Kansas City. Yep. So Tony Tone. Yeah. Or is that Tony? Yeah. The Tiguan SEL-Lines are the car to get. And man, I have 30, I think I said 38 of them left. That's it. That's all I have. And we ordered a bunch. Or we had over 125 of them at one point. We're down to 38. So they're going fast. And that's all I have are SEL-Lines now. No SEs, no S's, and no SEL-R-Lines. So yeah, craziness. So what I was going to say about the ID Buzz. Orange is not everybody's color. And I didn't think about this till I had a customer where I thought I thought I had a buyer on an ID Buzz because she bought an ID4 waiting for the ID Buzz to come out, which I had never heard that before. That I thought was unique. I thought that was special. She's waiting on the Pro S Plus because she wants to be able to tow. And the first edition doesn't have a tow hitch. Only the first edition will have a tow hitch. So it's probably the Mahi green one's not going to be here until August. So she's interested in that one. But she told me another side note. She comes from the area of North Carolina area, kind of around Tennessee. And she thought about buying the orange and the energetic orange with the white upper. And she said she talked to her family about it because they're EV buyers. And family told her, if you buy that car, you buy an orange car, I'm changing all of the codes to the gates at the cabin, and you're no longer welcome. Because they are very, very staunch. They're anti-Tennessee volunteers. And they're orange and white. And they promised to disown her and change the codes to the gates at the lake cabin if she bought an orange and white ID Buzz. I thought that was hilarious. So green and white it is. Or blue and white. The other thing is, I posted some pictures. I don't think I posted a video from the Chicago Auto Show of an ID Buzz that was there, and it was not Cabana blue. It's a dark blue that almost looks black, and I want to call it midnight blue, but it wasn't. I don't think it's called midnight blue, but it's a blue that I've never seen before on an ID Buzz. And I'm gonna tell you what, that changed the look of that thing, where that thing looked hella sharp. So it looked really awesome. So the ID Buzz is going to get its following. I just hope it gets its following before Volkswagen says, pull the plug on it. Because Volkswagen doesn't have patience. They did not invest enough in the Arteon. They didn't invest enough in the Tiguan. I mean, not the Tiguan, the Touareg. They didn't invest enough in the CC. They just don't invest enough dollars advertising-wise in these cars to make people aware of them. And I worry that the ID Buzz is going to fall by the wayside before that happens. ID7, that wasn't a car that I didn't see it in the U.S. and I might have said that in a few videos. I just didn't see it. I don't see that car making it as a U.S. spec car. I just don't. Um, Cost is a big deal, and cars are very quickly getting to the point where people can't afford them. Period. And if there's tariffs go into effect, that gets even worse. All that does is exacerbate the situation. So again, I've said this a few times through this live chat. Buy a car now before the tariffs hit. And I also went through where these cars are built and where they're manufactured at, and the parts they're done. So let's see here. Let's see. I'd be nervous driving a Golf R without a spare tire. I've done it for 3 years, man. Oh, and the tires they put on the Golf R, yeah, they thought about that. I'm running on extreme contacts right now. I believe they weren't Michelins. They were Goodyears that came on it. The summer tires that came on it. And here's the thing I'll tell you about those tires. I didn't know this until I had an incident where I bumped the curb and I put a bubble in my tire. Didn't mess up the rim at all. Didn't get the rim. Just hit a little curb that was probably that tall. And it wasn't painted yellow or anything. And it was dark. It was a raining intersection. And it was a curb that they put where it stuck out from the sidewalk. It wasn't the sidewalk itself, but it was an extended curb. And it was like, of course I hit that. Felt like the car was like the rim busted in 2 pieces when I hit that thing. But it didn't. But anyway, the point is the tire that came on that car has a lip on it where the rim seats inside the lip to protect the rim as well, which is pretty nice. And I don't know if my extreme contacts have that same little ridge, but it's pretty genius. And I haven't, knock on wood, haven't had an issue with the new extreme contacts. I haven't even had to have one plugged yet. Again, knock on wood. But man, that don't let that stop you. If you want a Golf R, if you want an ID4, it doesn't come with a spare either. An ID Buzz, no spare. Just get it. You'll be fine. Let's see here. Yeah, Dwayne died. Has it been a month? A lot of people from my area went down to the funeral. Let's see here. There was a long line to test drive the Buzz at the Philly Auto Show. I bet. Yeah, it's a really cool car. It's a really cool car, and I'm considering talking to my boss to see if he'll let me bring it home on weekends. Pretty cool. And I just got an idea. My neighborhood has a St. Patrick's Day parade, and it's this Saturday, and we have a Mahi Green Buzz. And I think I'm going to ask him if I can drive this thing through the parade. I just thought about that. Wow. Light bulb just went off. Hopefully it didn't blind anybody. Any other questions anybody has here? Because I've gone an hour here, and we've kind of rambled, but we covered a lot of topic here. Anybody have any other questions? Anything pressing and not pressing, just shooting the breeze. And one other thing I'll update you guys on, it's unrelated to Volkswagen, but man, they're forecasting some really nasty weather for us tomorrow. So keep us in your thoughts and prayers if you do that. We're expected to get some doozies of storms. Like St. Louis is in a almost virtual bullseye for tomorrow. Strong winds, 70+ mile an hour gusts without storms. And then with the storms, they're going to be even stronger. So straight line winds, maybe a derecho, and possibly large damaging tornadoes. This is all the verbiage they use on everything today. The hail threat's not there. And I'm talking weather. I know I'm a weather geek too. So let's see here. Feel like yeah. So so they're forecasting some pretty nasty weather for us tomorrow. It's supposed to be over quick, but it's supposed to come in at night. So just keep us in your thoughts. And if you guys are in this area, if you're in Arkansas, anywhere south of here, Mississippi, I feel for you guys too. We'll say a prayer for you guys because you're supposed to get it on Saturday, the southeast area. So with that being said, if nobody else, let's see here. If nobody else has got anything, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Hey, Jessica, how are you? Yeah. All right. You guys have a good night, and I'm gonna probably start doing these a little regular. I'm sorry about I don't do advanced notification on these, but man, turn on the notification bell, subscribe, all of that stuff, yada yada yada. Good talking to you guys. Thanks for listening and tuning in, and have a good night, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, see ya.